God is dead. What does not kill me makes me stronger. There are no facts, only interpretations. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. It is not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes unhappy marriages. Love is blind, friendship closes its eyes. One does not want to be loved for the sake of oneself, but for the sake of the person who loves. We have art in order not to die from the truth. All things are subject to interpretation. Whichever interpretation prevails at a given time is a function of power and not truth. The two enemies of human happiness are pain and boredom. Morality is the herd instinct in the individual. Guilt is the memory of a past act. The surest way to corrupt a youth is to instruct him to hold in higher esteem those who think alike than those who think differently. What is the task of higher education? To turn lies into truths. A good writer possesses not only his own. To forget one's purpose is the commonest form of stupidity. Do not go gentle into that good night. Without music, life would be a mistake. Great intellects are skeptical. We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. The surest way to corrupt a woman is to teach her to aspire to equality with men. The only way to deal with fear is to face it head on. The snake that cannot shed its skin perishes. He who has a strong enough why can bear almost anyhow. The difference between a good and a bad economist is that the former knows the difference between a good and a bad cigar. When we are tired, we are attacked by ideas we conquered long ago. He who would learn to fly one day must first learn to stand and walk and run and climb and dance. One cannot fly into flying. To live is to suffer, to survive is to find meaning in the suffering. Love is not a feeling of happiness. All truth is simple. Is that not doubly a lie? Christianity is Platonism for the people. There are no beautiful surfaces without a terrible depth. A pair of powerful spectacles has sometimes sufficed to cure a person in love. One cannot learn much from victory, one can learn everything from defeat. The concept of the good is thus the highest formula of order. That the will composite for itself within the conditions of life. To live alone one must be a beast or a god. The man of knowledge must be able not only to love his enemies but also to hate his friends. It is not necessary to hope in order to undertake, nor to succeed in order to persevere. Science is not a self-sufficient realm, but an interpretation and formulation of the world by means of the commonplace concepts of everyday life. Love is not a matter of principle, but of reason. One can learn nothing from victory, but everything from defeat. It is easy to be independent when one has money, but to be independent when one has none is an attribute of a strong character. The man who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. To live is to experience things, not sit around pondering the meaning. A woman's loveliness is often taken for granted until she has passed away. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Love is the state in which man sees things most decidedly as they are not. The essence of all beautiful art, all great art, is gratitude. A good philosopher is one who knows how to laugh at himself. Nothing is so contagious as enthusiasm. Love is not a feeling of happiness, but rather an ability to sacrifice. There is only one way to get the best of an argument, and that is to avoid it. The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the herd. Art is the highest task and the truly metaphysical activity in this life. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison, by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures. It is the unknown we fear when we look upon death and darkness, nothing more. Those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those. To find oneself, one must lose oneself. The purpose of life is to create something. The greatest of follies is to sacrifice health for any other kind of happiness. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. We have but one task, to stand fast and not to be overcome by what happens to us. Better to fight for something than live for nothing. Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. A friend is someone who knows all about you and still loves you. The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it. The purpose of a storyteller is not to tell you how to think, but to give you questions to think upon. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. A man's greatest struggle is not against his enemies, but against himself. A wise man speaks because he has something to say, a fool because he has to say something. Success is the ability to go from one failure to another with no loss of enthusiasm. A life without cause is a life without effect. The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. A single conversation across the table with a wise person is worth a month's study of books. The snake that cannot shed its skin perishes. To change the world, you have to get your head together first. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. The best way to predict the future is to create it. The most valuable possession you can own is an open heart. Love is not a feeling of happiness, but rather an ability to sacrifice. If you want to change the world, change yourself. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. If you want to find happiness, find gratitude. If want to be remembered after you die, write something worth reading or do something worth writing about. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. The best things in life are often waiting for you at the exit ramp of your comfort zone. Those who live life fully are the ones who live life happily. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Your time is limited, don't waste it living someone else's life. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. In 3 words I can sum up everything I've learned about life. It goes on. The truth is rarely pure and never simple. Everything has its beauty, but not everyone sees it. If you want to change the world, start with yourself. Life is a journey, not a destination. Every great journey begins with a single step. Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits. Your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. Life is a game, play it. Live as if you were to die tomorrow, learn as if you were to live forever. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The difference between a successful person and others is not a lack of strength, not a lack of knowledge, but rather a lack of will. Education is not just about learning from books, but from experiences as well. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. There is only one thing that makes a dream impossible: to achieve the fear of failure. It's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years. Your only limit is the size of the idea you have. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Life is about making an impact, not making an income. Believe you can and you're halfway there. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. A goal is not always meant to be reached, it often serves simply as something to aim at. Your time is limited, don't waste it living someone else's life. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. Life is a journey, not a race. The only thing that is constant in life is change. Never give up on something you believe in, even if it means being the only one who believes in it. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Don't watch the clock do what it does. Keep going. Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts. Life is too short to waste time on things that don't matter. The best way to have a good idea is to have a lot of ideas. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change the way you think about it. A person who never made a mistake, never tried anything new. The only source of knowledge is experience. Your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. The greatest gift of life is friendship, and I have received it. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. The purpose of our lives is to be happy. Don't wait for opportunities, create them. The only way to achieve success is to continuously grow and evolve. What we do today determines who we are tomorrow. Life is too short to wait for things to happen, make them happen. What you do today can improve all your tomorrows. The only thing standing between you and your dream is the story. You keep telling yourself that you can't achieve it. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. We become what we think about most of the time. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist, that is all. Don't let yesterday take up too much of today. A person who never made a mistake, never tried anything new. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them, that only creates sorrow. Every accomplishment starts with the decision to try. There are two types of people in this world. Those who make things happen and those who watch things happen. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say. It is not what you do for your children, but what you have taught them to do for themselves that will make them successful human beings. Life is about making an impact, not making an income. Believe you can and you're halfway there. Success is not how high you have climbed, but how you make a positive difference to the world. Life is a journey, not a destination. The biggest adventure you can ever take is to live the life of your dreams. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. The best way to have a good life is to have good habits. A goal is not always meant to be reached, it often serves simply as something to aim at. Your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. What we do today determines who we are tomorrow. The only way to achieve success is to continuously grow and evolve. Don't wait for opportunities, create them. Life is too short to wait for things to happen, make them happen. The best way to make your dreams come true is to wake up. The best way to predict the future is to create it. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. You cannot change your future, but you can change your habits. And surely your habits will change your future. The only way to true success is not measured by what you have achieved, but by the obstacles you have overcome. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Life is like a book, some chapters are sad, some are happy, and some are exciting. But if you never turn the page, you will never know what the next chapter holds. Every day is a new beginning, take a deep breath and start again. You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. Life is a journey, make the best of it. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy, not on fighting the old, but on building the new. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. Life is too short to waste time on things that don't matter. A successful life is one that is lived through understanding and pursuing one's own path, not chasing after the dreams of others. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. Always believe in yourself and never give up, for even the biggest successes had to start somewhere. Life is like a camera, focus on the good times, develop from the negatives. And if things don't work out, take another shot. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. Life is a journey, make the most of it. Happiness is not something you postpone for the future, it is something you design for the present. What you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Life is a journey, enjoy the ride. Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is great. Live life to the fullest, for you only have one chance to make it the best that it can be.